everybody. Welcome to the realm of the unknown, where mysteries lurk in the shadows and spirits whisper in the darkness. I'm Elena, your guide to the world beyond the veil, and this is Ghoulies in the City, where I tell you a story of all things paranormal while playing GTA RP and possibly other games. If this sounds like your cup of tea, well, like and subscribe so you can always stay updated on new spooky videos that come out. Today, we are talking about a house that is 24,000 square feet, has 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 47 stairways, 47 fireplaces, but only 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, doors that open to outside that lead to a 12-foot drop, and of course, the hauntings of residual shadow figures and intelligent hauntings. So let's get into the Winchester Mystery House. We're gonna get to the history of it a little bit because it is pretty important due to the legends. So Sarah Lockwood, my goodness, was born in 1839 in New Haven, Connecticut, and then in 1862 she marries William Winchester, and he was born in 1837 in Baltimore. I tried finding out how they met because we all love love stories, but one website said that they were childhood friends, and then the other said that Sarah had met William after his father and him created the Winchester Arms Company, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, but I'll get into in a little bit. After 4 years of marriage, they welcome home a baby girl named Annie, but she had been born on July 12th, 1866, and she had been the only child of the two. However, unfortunately, she did pass away at 5.5 weeks after her birth from Maramus, which I researched what it was because I've never heard of it before, but I did not research on how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry. So it is a severe malnutrition characterized by an energy deficiency and can occur in anyone, but it typically occurs in children. It's when the body weight is reduced to less than 62% of the normal expected weight for the age. There's a bunch of causes and signs, which I won't get into, but so it's pretty much starvation. But anyways, in 1873, the Winchester rifle model 73 was released, and it's actually known the gun that won the West, and the reason why is because this gun could fire 15 bullets without needing to be reloaded. And if you're not good with history or wars, the current war that was going on was the Civil War, so a rifle that could shoot 15 shots in a row without needing to be reloaded was pretty much a game changer, because they had to, you know, put the bullet powder in and then shove it down there. So anyways, that's why it's got its nickname. And while they were building their new home on Prospect Hill the same year of 1866, this is where Sarah learned about real estate investment and financial strategies from her father-in-law, Oliver. It said that Sarah was super educated and wasn't afraid to voice her opinion, which is pretty noble in that era, because a woman opens her mouth and she gets called a witch. So then the house was completed 2 years later in 1868, and this house was actually 20 square feet, had 20 rooms with marble floors, fireplaces, chandeliers, large bay windows. It sounds absolutely beautiful, and I was gonna look it up, but I forgot, so I don't know if it's still there or not. But anyways, Sarah's father ended up dying at the age of 60 in 1869, and about 10 years later in 1980, you know, it's been 10 years, they went through 2 unimaginable losses. They're rich, they have their house, it's been quiet, it's been good, things are looking up, but of course, you know, things do not stay that way. Absolutely not, because life sucks. So the next few years will be tragic and full of a lot of grief. Well, actually the next year. In 1880, Sarah's mother passed away. Her father-in-law died December of that year. Then William passed away from tuberculosis in March of 1881. So within 1 year, she lost 3 most important people in her life. But, you know, the bright side is she is now the richest woman in the States.
Hold up.
Okay.
He wants a rematch. He's gonna lose again.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Damn.
Whatever. Back to the story. Whatever.
It'll be okay. You'll win next time. I can feel it. The ghosts are telling me you'll win next time.
Now somebody needs
Absolutely.
therapy session now.
No. Only you. You're the one who
Well-
shoots people unprovoked.
I can't afford it.
I can't afford it either.
Insurance will pay for
Somehow
it.
they're
Yeah.
doing a GoFundMe for me, bro.
Okay. So after her, what I can only assume is a midlife crisis, and she ended up traveling to EU for a few years, and she comes back and decides to go to Cali. And I didn't put this in there, but I was watching a couple documentaries, and it stated that the reason why she chose California was because she was suffering from a severe version of arthritis. Sorry, I should have written it down. And the cold weather was just getting like too much for her, so she decides to go to Cali. So in 1885 she arrives in California, and this is where she purchases the 2-story farmhouse near San Jose and starts remodeling. In 1888, Sarah's favorite niece moves in with her. This is where the two live for the next 15 years. 1890 through 1900, the 2-story farmhouse becomes a 7-story Victorian mansion. 1903, Daisy gets married, and Daisy is the favorite niece, and she leaves the home. And I'm just gonna go through the quick timeline real quick, and then I'll get into the paranormal stories. But in 1906, the Great San Francisco earthquake damages the mansion, and this is where she starts reconstructing again. Then eventually Sarah passes away September 5th, 1922. After Sarah passed, which is kind of a fun fact, because I didn't know this about Henry Houdini, but apparently before he became a magician, he actually spent his time debunking all these mediums and psychics. So that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do an episode on him or something. But yeah, I didn't know that. So he ended up staying the night in 1924 to debunk the paranormal stories, and I believe it was one of the only places he left with more questions than he had of answers. So this is where he referred it to the Mystery House, and that's where it's got its the Winchester Mystery House name. All right, so what were these paranormal stories Houdini wanted to debunk? Let's talk about the seance room. According to legend, this is where she went every night, which I think it was at 2 a.m., but I swore I heard 3 a.m., but I could only find 2 a.m. So she went to this room every night at 2 a.m. to talk to the spirits. The next morning, she would tell her carpenter and their team of what to do to the home, and for the next 38 years, she would get up every night, talk to the spirits, and then next morning tell them what to, oh my god, I suck at this, I'm sorry. She would get up every night at 2 a.m. Then the spirits tell her what to do with the house to confuse the evil and ward off the evil spirits and demonic spirits that are after her. So yeah, that's what she did. According to BuzzFeed Unsolved, which I tried, okay, I said I tried, but I really didn't try that hard because it's just a lot of work. So BuzzFeed Unsolved, after her death of her loved ones, of course, she became depressed, and she met with a psychic, Adam Coons from Boston. It doesn't give the year. I did try to look for the year, but it sounds like it was already in California because of what she was told. So Adam held a seance to connect to Sarah's lost loved ones, and this is where she was told that she had actually been cursed by the victims of the Winchester rifle, and those spirits have caused Annie and William to have passed away. And it said that the correct words were, if the hammers ever ceased, she would die. So in fear of her death, she reconstructed the home nonstop for 38 years. However, there are reports and records that had actually stopped a few times throughout the years. However, others say these rumors started after her death. So was the house haunted, or was it just a little fun project for Sarah because she was the richest lady in the States with nothing else to do? And for some reason, it said that Sarah was obsessed with the number 13. There had been reports that Sarah created numerous items in 13. So 13 coat hooks, 13 chandeliers, 13 bathrooms. But I personally feel like if it was more of a spiritual case for the number 13, there'd be a lot more numbers in 13. But, you know, who knows? That's just I'm not an expert, so. And let's get into the spiritual and paranormal happenings that we are all here for. So in 2017, a team had been in the home shooting a video for various locations in the area, and in the footage of the basement, there had been this distinct ripple effect in the middle of the shot. They describe it as something walking in a circle in front of the camera, just causing like this weird static almost, but it did not happen in any other videos in the basement, just that particular one. It's reported that there is constant footsteps on the main staircase. Another person in the home heard a noise coming from the cabinets of the dressing room, and when she got up to explore the noise, 3 cabinets were completely wide open. So let's kind of talk about the couple of ghosts that is said to haunt there. So it's rumored that a few workers or servants, since, you know, it was in late 1800s, early 1900s, have stayed in the home after their death. There is an apparition of a woman with black hair who is spotted, and there's also another apparition who has black hair that is spotted pushing a wheelbarrow, and they believe that this is a worker named Clyde. And a worker that was previously working on the home said he was on a ladder and felt a tap on his shoulder, which is kind of weird because, you know, you're up on a ladder. Who the fuck is behind you? And, you know, your reaction is looking when someone taps you, but of course no one was there. He went back to doing what he was doing, and he felt this weird pressure, like a hand pressuring on his back. And it was reported that he went down the steps of the ladder and ditched his coworker and just got the fuck out of there, which, I mean, I probably would do too.
100%.
And I was on Reddit trying to find kind of ghost stories on there. Not ghost stories, but ghost experiences. I mean, you can watch YouTubers, you can watch Ghost Adventures, which I have in here, but we all know it's TV, so it's probably going to be dramatized. So I was trying to find authentic stories. But this story is from a Reddit username Fallen Reaper 360, and it is Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. They said that they learned about this in college, and they were told that Sarah had the workers keep building to avoid deportation, as they had like a work visa. But I couldn't find anything online to confirm it. But I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to throw that in there. And let's talk about my favorite paranormal investigators. I don't know if you guys have watched them, but Shane and Ryan are hilarious. A little background on them. Shane is a completely non-believer, and Ryan is 100% a believer. So the two pairing up is it's hilarious, and it just kind of feels a little bit more authentic than others. But when Shane and Ryan explored the home, they were sitting on the floor, on one of the floors. I don't remember exactly which one. I think it was the basement. But they were in reenactment uniforms, so they were dressing like in the 1920s, 1900s, early 1900s. And when Ryan asked who was by the REM pod, and if you guys don't know what a REM pod is, it's a little device you can put on the floor, and it's electric energy. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but when something gets close to it, it'll go off. So they put it over on top of this chair, and it's not going off. They're not close enough to set it off, but it starts going off by itself. And when asked who is by the REM pod, the spirit box, it said freaking Sarah, which is insane. And then a few other things. Shane asked Miss Winchester, he said, "Is Miss Winchester in the room with us? Please turn on the flashlight." But nothing happened. However, when asked, "Mr. Winchester, if you're here with your wife, can you turn on the light?" And the light went on right after the question, which is insane. But I also think it's kind of sweet because that means, you know, you get reunited with your lost loved ones in a way. So I thought that was so cute. But anyways, they went into the seance room next. And because they were in reenactment uniforms, they were kind of trying to pretend that they were workers for Miss Winchester. They were asking to do taps. So please tap on, please make noise, or please tap once for yes, tap twice for no, because they were hearing these taps. They decided to do that. And Ryan asked, they went through a couple questions, but the one that freaked me out the most is, would you like us to get back to work, Miss Winchester? And there was a freaking tap right after the question, like, yes, what are you doing in my room? Get out of here, go back to work. So that was pretty crazy. Just the timing of it was insane. And then another thing is there is a video of a record, so a record player that had been playing classical music, but the record player had been broken for months and should not have been playing any type of music. So that was spooky, but of course Shane was like, I mean, it's a record player, it's supposed to play music, but then Ryan was arguing with him, well, it was been broken. So that was kind of funny, but that was spooky. And Ghost Adventures, which we all know is probably dramatized, but I love putting them in here because they have been everywhere. So Ghost Adventures had been here a couple of times. The first time they went, they used a Mel meter, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's like an EMF reader. And if you don't know what that is, it pretty much is what the REM pod does. It senses a change in the electronic field thing. I don't really know the whole pseudoscience behind it, but you get it. And in the same time, Zach was saying that he felt a really, really weird energy around him, but it's Zach, you know, I was like, he feels weird energy all the fucking time and he's possessed on every other episode, but this is a little freaky. So when the EMF or the Mel meter went off, at the same time he started feeling the super weird energy, the lockdown actually had to be canceled and was never completed. And that was because he got a call saying his grandmother passed away at that exact time. So it kind of makes me think maybe she was coming in and, you know, looking out after her, maybe saying her goodbyes or something like that. It's so sad, but pretty creepy. Now let's get to the EVPs that Ghost Adventures got, which is crazy. So the EVPs, before that happened, they got I Hate Nick and Hey You, and the most creepy one I think is Aaron Kill. And I think that these were not the ghosts of the home. I think these are Aaron's attachments. So if you don't know Ghost Adventures, Aaron has like 3 to 5 demonic attachments and he has lived with them. He's like, yeah, no, I could do a whole episode on this guy. He goes, yeah, no, it's fine, they're just kind of there in the background, like I've learned to live with them. They ruined my marriage, but it's totally cool. And sometimes throughout the seasons you can kind of see, I don't know, when things change and he gets these weird demeanor changes and even like evil looks in his eyes. It's so creepy and I don't know why he's still letting him hang around. Like, why don't you go get cleansed, get them off of your back because you're being weird. So I think those are his demonic entities coming through the EVPs, saying that he hates Nick and I think it's telling Aaron to kill, so that's pretty fucking creepy, but enough about that. So, is the Winchester house actually haunted, or was Sarah just a low-key genius? I guess that's probably up for you to decide, but thank you for allowing me to geek into my history and tell these very spooky stories.